Hi, boys and girls. I miss you so much. And you might know this face right beside me. It's somebody that you've seen a lot over time in our whole community. You might see her taking a jog down your street. You might see her in our schools. You might see her just about anywhere you go in our area. And I'm so glad to welcome, for the first time ever, to a virtual career day, Jennifer. Jennifer, welcome. We're so glad you're here.
Yay, I'm so excited to be here. I put my yay behind me because I'm so excited to be here with you guys today. I love the Bulldogs.
Yes, and they love you. You've had a long past with Fairmount Bulldogs, so you've been around for a while. So tell us where you started with Fairmount.
Well, I started in 2008 when the school opened as Independence, and at the time I was Link. I was the before and after school program person. I hired Miss Tiny. I brought her, and then I just stayed.
Well, we're glad that you did. And so you stayed with Independence and you were part of Link, which that before and after school care program, and then someone stole you away. Can you tell us about your job that you do now?
Yes. So about a little over 3 years ago, Community Services League hired me, and what I get to do is I get to work in the community with people all day, every day. It's my favorite thing ever. And we get to do, just everything to help families be strong and stable in their neighborhoods. And I can show you some pictures if you want. Okay, let me share my screen with you. Gotta find it now. I wanted you guys to know that I work in the field of community development, but I consider myself a community organizer, which means I work really hard to bring all the community partners together, the people together, the neighbors together, so that everyone is making decisions together and not just someone from the outside making decisions on behalf of a neighborhood. I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go on. But at CSL, or Community Services League, some of you may have been there before. This is our main location on Noland Road. We have a food pantry, we do Christmas store, we do a whole bunch of stuff that maybe your family's been part of before. And we also have financial coaching, we have career coaching or job coaching, and we do whatever we can to help families be the best they can be so that neighborhoods can be the best they can be. And a neighborhood is where we live and where we shop and where we play and where we go to church. But some other fun things we do that are community are we do events in our neighborhood because that's what's fun. We draw people together. If you look up in the top left, we have a coffee shop right there in Fairmount on 24 Highway. You've probably driven by it lots of times, and we have a coffee shop in there. But not just a coffee shop. We teach classes and we have meetings, and the police come in there and hang out and just visit with people, but so do people from our city. And then we've done, you can see in the top middle, there's some Fairmount kiddos in that picture, I think. And we have trunk or treats in the fall. We let kids dress up and have a safe place to come do their trick or treating. And then on the top right, we help families get connected to other community partners so that they can get homes that are all their own. And then on the bottom right, you can see the Reading Rocket. How many of you have been on the Reading Rocket? Well, the Reading Rocket never would have come to Fairmount had I had not stayed on them and said, hey, you need to come to Fairmount. And they give away lots of free books. And then in the bottom middle, we like to work with teachers also, because we know that teachers in your neighborhoods is a cool thing. So we help teachers get connected to students in different ways than maybe they do normally. Fairmount already does porch visits, but not all schools do. So we try to help others get doing porch visits. And then on the bottom left, now how many of you have been part of that back to school bash? Well, it takes hundreds of people to make that happen. And that's just some of the people you can see there stuffing the backpacks to make all of that good stuff happen. But I'm gonna keep going because I have more stuff.
So hold on just a second. Can you
Yes,
go back to that? Because I
I
know
sure
that
can.
our kids that are out there are, these are things that like they really, really connect to. And I'm looking at like this coffee shop. So how would they go get to the classes, or the classes for the kids or for the parents or for both?
Well, we have classes for both. Right now, most of the classes we have for kids are more like craft classes, sometimes on Saturdays, but we're going to work on trying to get some different kind of stuff in there too. It's going to take us a little bit of time, especially once we can all come back together. But yes, but adults can find out the classes by looking on the internet, the web, at
Very
CSL's
nice.
website.
Okay, on CSL's website. Very good. And I know that those friends that know me know that this bottom left picture has a huge place in my heart. The way that volunteers come together to be able to pack up 400 and 500 backpacks to share in our community, because it doesn't just go to Fairmount, it goes to our community. And I think that's so valuable to know. But Fairmount itself is so impacted by the things that you do.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this page. This, oh, it moved. This page, a couple other things we do. We teach classes, I already said that, but that's some adults taking some classes. And then on the top right, we have had rugby clinics in the past where we teach kids a new sport and try and just help them learn how to be active. The bottom right, we have a dance performance happening because our community over in Northwest Independence by Fairmount is very, very special. We have lots of different cultures in our community, and we want to celebrate all the cultures and their histories, their countries, their food, their dance, and everything about them. So we like to have performances in the neighborhood with our different cultures represented. And then the bottom left, you got to give a shout out for Van Horn, because even though you're Fairmount Bulldogs, you are future Falcons, and stick to it, guys. But in the middle, I put a special picture in the middle because this is kind of important to me and my family. Miss Knight mentioned that volunteers are what helps so much in our community. Well, this particular picture is my family, and we volunteer all the time to help in our community. It's just important. It's who we are. It's what we do. We live in the neighborhood here in Fairmount. We shop here. We go to church here. We play here, and we serve here. And that's really important to also part of what I do in community development. What other questions do you have for me, Miss Knight?
Well, so it sounds like your job is where you work together with people. So your job itself is where you get people involved?
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
where do you find the people?
Oh, well, you find them everywhere you look. You find them wherever people are. You just start a conversation and you ask a lot of questions and you listen really close. Sometimes I have a lot of meetings and I make a lot of phone calls and I sit and I talk, but I listen to what other people want. And when I find out what they want, then I can connect them to what's going on. It's not me going to them and saying, hey, will you make potato salad? But I don't like to make potato salad. But if I listen to you and you'd rather serve the potato salad, then I'll let you serve the potato salad. It's just a lot of listening and connecting. I like to think of it kind of like weaving a blanket or a fabric. You find the thread with the people everywhere they are, all the different colors and textures, and you just kind of weave it together so that we're all one big community. Does that make sense?
It does. It does make a lot of sense. And one of the things we talked about with community is your super cool shirt.
Yes.
So yeah,
this is a shirt that represents all the different neighborhoods in Independence, and we are right there. There's Fairmount, way up here in the top corner, because we're in the northwest area of Fairmount. And I wanted to tell one thing about how I got into this work. Can I tell that?
please.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, kids. It started when I was 5. My mom volunteered and I got to go with her. And I realized that volunteering was a lot of fun for me, but it also made a big difference for the people I was working with. And then when I was 12 years old, I volunteered in a vacation Bible school in a church that was in Kansas City, way in Kansas City. And I met this little boy named Carlos. He was 5. And at that moment, it clicked. I didn't know what I was going to do, but it was going to be in the community for the rest of my life. And then every activity I did, every project I got to pick in high school and in college and in graduate school was all about community and figuring out how to do that well. And that's what I keep going after. And I have always been really good with people, not so good at math, but I think it's important for you to know that even though I didn't really like math, I did my very best in math because I was still able to become the valedictorian of my high school class, even though I didn't like math and I didn't like science either. But I worked hard at them. I had that grit because I wanted to go to college.
I am so glad that you brought that up because there innately inside of all of us is a passion that's put inside of us. And that passion drives us to what we want to be when we grow up. Mm-hmm. And we're talking to a bunch of kids right now that are in elementary school, and they're not even thinking about what they want to be when they grow up. But it's about finding that passion. And it sounds like you found that passion.
Yep.
And it's okay not to love math. It's okay not to love science. It's not okay not to try your hardest at those, even if they don't love you. But find that career path that's going to take you to a job that you enjoy, to a job that you can enjoy. And I think that you've done that. I think
for sure. I'm super blessed.
Yes. That job was made for you. I just feel so strongly that is who you are and that you enjoy what you do.
I love it.
We talked to a bear scientist a couple days ago, and he's just like, I didn't like reading and social studies that much, but I love science. I love science. And so he found a career path that helped him on that. And so you found a career path. Yep. So you've talked a lot about, well, before we go, you asked me, or you said math and science weren't your favorite. So what was your favorite subject when you were in elementary school?
My favorite in elementary school was reading and writing. I love to write stories.
Very good. And when you write, you really have to listen to things around you and be able to get that. So I can definitely see you've been just a great writer. I still think that you could write a book that we could all learn so much from in all that you've done. And then what kind of college or what kind of education do you need to do your job?
Well, what I did is I went to college and I got my bachelor's in psychology and a minor in sociology. But I got my master's in sociology with an emphasis in urban affairs. Is that absolutely required to do it? No. There's a lot of other community paths you can take. You can take community planner, you can take social work, you can take sociology, but as long as they're in the path of community, you're going to hit it.
Very nice, very nice. And you talked a lot about volunteering. And what is volunteering? Because some of our kids may never have heard that or may not know what that is.
Sure. Volunteering is when you give of your time to help others. And it can be organized like things I talked about, or it could just be, you know what, I'm going to go help my neighbor pick up the trash in their yard. I'm going to be a good neighbor doing that. I'm going to help my teacher by making sure that my classroom space is clean and neat because it makes it safer for everyone else. It's that, but then it can be bigger, and you can volunteer and stuff backpacks with us in August, or you could volunteer and help us in food pantries. Kids can do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know that my pathway for a while, my passion for a while was in that. And I just so enjoyed like feeding the homeless and driving around and meeting people and talking to people. And I may have given up a Saturday to do that, but what I got back was so immensely more. And it sounds like from your job, you just coordinate people to be able to live life better.
Yeah.
So,
and we do it together.
And that's amazing. Well, Jennifer, Fairmount cannot thank you enough for all that you do for us, because I don't think we'd be the school that we are today without you. And you're definitely a legacy at Fairmount, and always will be. We love you. We truly love you. And I just want to shout out, yay. Your background says it all. Yay.
Well, I love Fairmount too. I hope everyone knows that. So be
Yes.
sure to wave at me if you see me running. And if you see my my husband in a big white bus cooking fish, stop and say hi. Just come see us anytime. And if you see us out, we want you to come say hi.
That's wonderful, because that's what community is building a community of people that have a friendly face to talk to, a smile to be able to share with another person. So Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us today. And boys and girls, can't wait to see you really live at Fairmount again. We miss you so much. And we hope you really enjoyed another virtual career day.